Oh, this is Dr. Stanley Lang, and welcome to this broadcast. The purpose of this broadcast is to continue a series on whole person health uh, videos that I've been giving. And the focus today is on the concept of how to break the cycle of chronic stress. And I want to tell a story of a patient that I saw recently that highlights this. And this is somebody that is a typical uh, multitasking kind of person, a woman who's in middle age. She's got her family is pretty much grown, so she doesn't have small children to take care of. So she's working 40 hours a week out of the home. By the time she gets home, she is basically so tired she just can barely drag herself in the door. Perhaps you can relate to this. Uh, and she's been experiencing more symptoms of really depression and near tearfulness a lot. And we talked at length about the different factors contributing to this, the things that she could change, the things she couldn't. And it really was very typical of what I see very frequently, which is that people have this kind of a cycle where they're on like a treadmill, they can't get off, and this moment feeds into the next moment, which feeds into the next moment, and then they're back to starting point again, and the day starts all over again with the same sense of profound fatigue and lack of zest for life. So I talked about how she was kind of stuck in this cycle, and that the only way that you can make a change and be in a different place um, is to interrupt that cycle, like you're cutting a hula hoop and you're breaking it apart, and so that circle can't continue anymore. And somehow you have to step in and cut that off. Otherwise, the same chronic stress keeps going and cooking the body, so to speak. And I told her that her body was giving her profound fatigue because she didn't have any deficiencies or anything. We've already checked that stuff. Her profound fatigue was her body telling her that she needs to make a change. And if she doesn't make that change, her body will make her make the change by crashing in some way, developing some disease of some sort. In some way, she is going to get off of that treadmill. She's going to break that cycle because her body's going to crash in some way. And so we talked about the two main options that I've seen that people can do that can interrupt this cycle. And the first one is very simple, very straightforward, and that is to start a 30-minute walking program on a daily basis. And now the problem behind that is obvious. The person already feels like they're too tired to drag themselves through the door. How in the world are they going to start walking? And in most cases, I'd say the vast majority of cases, unless there's an organic disease present, this is a psychological fatigue. It's not physical fatigue. The person could walk for 30 minutes more if they had to. It's just that they just don't feel like doing it. So I talked to her about the idea of changing in her mind. The reason for taking that walk is to break this cycle, not to get into better shape, not to lose weight, both of things that she needed to do, but not to feel like she's got to do this walk for those reasons, but that she is trying to break this cycle. And I told her that what it actually is doing is creating a vacation, a mini vacation from the chronic stress that she's experiencing. Now, the second option that I have seen work very well also is to learn how to pray the Jesus prayer, which is a contemplative prayer form that I've taught in many different scenarios, and I'm not going to go into detail now, but just to say that there are different ways to break this cycle. Some can be a very physical strategy, some can be a very spiritual strategy, and they can be a combination, obviously. So because she was already so tired and I thought she would probably fall asleep if she tried to do the Jesus prayer, I thought that the walking program would be her best first step, no pun intended. So the point is that I've seen this work many, many times. And in fact, statistics show that for mild to moderate depression, this kind of a vigorous walking program, just 30 minutes invested in walking nonstop, It has about a 90% cure rate. Now, there isn't any drug that comes close to that kind of a cure rate. And if you are experiencing chronic stress, if you are experiencing chronic fatigue, you need to start a 30-minute vigorous walking program, among other things. And it can be the first thing you can do. It doesn't have to be, but it's the simplest thing to do. And there are a lot of other reasons that I won't go into at this point why it might be the best thing to do. So I wish you well in your dealings with your own dealings with chronic stress. And if you're feeling like you're on that treadmill, a little bit hopeless, not quite so much zest for life, then get out of that cycle. Do something that takes you away from that sequence of this to that, this to that. It's the same every day. The stresses are similar every day. And make that break by doing a 30-minute vigorous walk every day. So I wish you well. God bless and have a great day.